Hey guys, it's BATJAC J.W. You're tuned in. Another chat box here. So, we're going to turn on the recorder and kicking off good old October. It's been a couple of days since I've done anything here on the channel, so figured to turn it on and chat with you guys a little bit. So, people have been following. Hopefully you saw the video I put up, the Lee press stand that I got. It's been doing good. I like it. Used it a little bit. I got it all constructed. I haven't filmed it yet. Need to do that. Show it to you because everybody saw part one. So the stand works really well. Was concerned with the thing about putting a weight on the bottom, because it gives you these hooks that you got to put on, and they tell you to go get a cinder block and go put it under there. I did not do that. I didn't. I wanted to see how it ran without it, and with the proper amount of case lube and everything, it works fine without the weight on the bottom there. Kind of strange. I don't know, but I seem to, for me, with my little turret press that I have mounted up to it, I seem to get away without having to put a weight on the bottom. So, and I maybe it's because I'm my case lube. I should clarify that too. I use Ballistol. I really do. My method is really I get a coating of Ballistol on my hands, and I really just roll the casings in my hands around, and then just kind of throw them in a tray and use them that way, and then go ahead and wash my hands, and then just clean up all that excess on just not coated down with oil. But I mean, not a lot, but enough to where it'll run its properly lube. And this, I started out, when I started loading, I used that Dylan case lube, and then I was making case lube. Once I found out, it was like, I started looking at the ingredients and everything. It's like Dylan case lube is just simply a high alcohol content. I've heard guys using ISO heat, and I was just using like a 91 proof alcohol that would go in to get from Walmart or something, and cut it with liquid lanolin, sheep emulsion. That's what I think it's called. I think I was ordering that from online, or I went to, I actually went to a natural food store and got it. The stuff is for chafed skin or dry skin. You apply it. It's a natural way to do it. So that's what case lube was. That's what Dylan case lube is. So you mix a little bit of that with the alcohol and everything. But the problem with that stuff is it turns into this gum. It's a mess, and it'll gum up the dyes eventually, and then your bullets that you produce eventually, once all that stuff just sets up or dries or whatever, it's like you have a bunch of this gummy stuff all over the place. And it's kind of difficult. I've actually had feeding issues with it sometimes, with a 1911 or something. So all in all, I quit doing that. And then, of course, I was using, after that, I started using Frog Lube. And boy, what a mistake that was, because that stuff turns into, for me, now other people may have had a different experience with it, but for me, that experience was, it turns into almost like a tar, and I could not get that stuff off. It's not easy to get that stuff off. I didn't at first notice it. It was actually my buddy Cody, and some of you that go way back with this channel, you know about the Hangout videos. And I know, Joe, I know you really like the Hangout videos, and one day I hope to bring all those. I hope that we can do that again. I'm not sure, at this point, my future and where I'm going to really be. So, yeah, it may just be right back there hanging out with Cody and doing all that if I can locate the guy. But anyway, with Cody, that's what he experienced with that stuff. It was like, he called me up and he says, man, he goes, that stuff was like, it turned into like tar or something all over my gun, my revolver. I said, what are you talking about? He said, man, you got to come and look at this. He's like, he goes, I couldn't even open the cylinder on the thing. I had to boil the gun in like soapy water. I'm like, what? Really? Like, that's wow. So I did. I wanted to go ahead and look at what he had going on and check that out. And sure enough, yeah, he had to boil the guns and stuff to get that frog lube off. So interesting, very, very interesting that it would do something like that. So, but that was my experience with that. So, and ultimately, after trying all this random stuff, it led me, and then of course, once I discovered, once I was able to use Ballistol, by a great thanks to Bob there. He sent me a bottle of it because in Hawaii I could not get it, and I swear if I move, I'm gonna have to get a bunch of it and ship it ahead of time before I hit the plane. But it's that stuff is just amazing, and the more you use it on something, the better the metal gets, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like a cast iron skillet or something. So it's very, very interesting. And also, the benefit is, you're helping preserve the dyes on your machine or whatever. So it helps it because someone would rust away. I did notice that, like when I had my Dillon 650 set up, some of the dyes would get rusty, and so I was trying to preserve them. And I remember putting oil directly over on the top of the tool head to try to help preserve them. So I was like, man, I'm just trying to not have my stuff corrode like that. Of course, living out on the island, that's just what's going to happen. So. Anyhow, but I'm pretty happy with this turret press. It's nice. I'm not trying to produce a whole bunch of rounds in one sitting or anything like that. So that certainly helps. But anyway, I got some rounds loaded up. I got this Bear Creek stuff that I've been using. It's I don't know, molly coated is what they call it. I don't know, I'm trying to read the box, but it's like a molly coated or something. I don't know. I got a brochure. Let me see if I can dig up that brochure and then find it. Yeah, it doesn't really say on the box. I thought I had a paper on it, but I must have left it at the place. But yeah, I got these things. What I'm using is truncated. I hope I'm saying that right. Truncated cone, 9mm, 125 grain. I've always liked the 115 because that's what I've used. That's what I'm used to using and shooting. And I know that I've done this mistake before where I've bought a different weighted bullet and then gone out and wondered, why is everything off? Oh, well, the bullet weight. So I've done that before. I didn't want to repeat that. But let's see here. All right. So oh yeah, by the way, the extended radio cuts, I put up the audio for you guys like this, for instance, episode 130. Wow, 130 of these things. I remember when I first started at episode 1, talking about discussing the future or what I wanted to do and everything like that. So, but yeah, here we are at 130 of them later, and I do an extended cut on a lot of those where I have other things I've just other extras that are not in the actual video that's posted on Saturday morning. That's just exclusively for the audio recordings. And here I got some actual comments right here on the audio recording here for 130, episode 130. And Scott F says, I don't care much for Facebook regardless on the live chats. Do it if it makes sense to you, or rather not what we want. This is your channel and you do it your way. A good radio show is always good stuff, and I appreciate that. I ultimately, like I said, I keep it going because of you guys. You guys really are. I think a lot about those like that are just been constantly watching the content, and I know Scott F. Joe P. Varen K. Richard Landeros, Bob Hartman. There's so many of you that are watching constantly. Russ Elder, there's just so many of you that I can't even list them all, that are constantly watching the material, and so yeah, just that to me means something. It means a lot to me, and I always remember that there's a lot of you that have been fans and been subscribed and for a very long time. So, and I am grateful for that. I didn't really think that the channel in the beginning when I started doing all this would gain any kind of a real serious following. Even now, it's still considered a really small channel, and I took my channel into a different. I wanted to take it into a different direction than what was mostly being done on YouTube already. With certain things, and I felt like I wanted to get more and more into stuff that I wanted to do that was different. I remember made a message to me that doing these type of chats was actually something that he really enjoyed from other YouTubers that quit doing it or so. And I've always liked doing this. I've always had this idea to do this type of a chat or a video or like an audio recording, I guess. Not really a video because you're not seeing anything, but just this kind of thing. And I'm glad. I must say, I figured it out and did it right here and figured out how to actually do this. I remember when I was first trying to figure it out, I would actually just set the camera up and film and just set it faced on something, just like a gun or something laying there and just randomly do. I remember doing that early on, doing stuff. So, but here we have Joe P. This was 2 days ago, according to this. Is good morning. You scared me there for a minute. Thought you might be ending this channel. I think that it would make a lot of us sad. On the topic of Molly-coated bullets, there we go. We're talking about that. I would be interested in your opinion on differences between Molly and powder-coated, except for one rifle bullet. Everything that he loads is powder-coated. Yes. So, less smoke than leaded and all that. Less expensive than Full Metal Jacket. Right. A good buddy of mine back in Hawaii, he would powder coat bullets. And I got powder coated bullets from him. And he would have this deal with me. If I supplied him some lead, he would split it with me. He'd give me some of the bullets casted, and then I would get, he would get some, and so he would powder coat the bullets. I had really good luck with those. The powder coating was excellent. It, was left the barrels clean. It doesn't smoke as much, especially like cast lead and stuff like that. The amount of smoke that comes off of that stuff is pretty horrific. I mean, you're almost like, man, am I shooting black powder here? So now my experience with this stuff, this molly coated stuff, I experienced a lot more smoke than I feel like I would have with powder coated. So I used to do my own casting and all that, and I used what was it, Lee's liquid Alox or something. It's like a wax or some sort. I don't know. That's what I used on my bullets. It was kind of a mess. It wasn't exactly the greatest, but yeah, I did my own casting for a while there. But for me, I felt like I had I don't know. I just felt like I was like poisoning myself, really. For me, it was just not worth it anymore to do it. I didn't want to do it anymore. It just didn't seem worth it to me. And a lot of it stemmed from when I was doing that, was the fact that you couldn't get anything. It was like all the components were dried up at a point, and it was really difficult to get anything. So that's what started me into casting. But so, just wanted to, I remember stockpiling, primers and powder when a lot of that was going down, and so I'll have to go back through and do that again. That's the only difficult thing about Hawaii. If you're into this stuff, it makes it really hard to get powder and primers, because you really, there's not very much options to get it. So I even contemplated. I said, well, I think if I was going to move back there and do that whole bit, I may just go ahead and find out who will transport it and pay a hazmat fee or whatever, and actually get it transported, and send myself a whole bunch of it with paying the hazmat fee. Because even if the hazmat fee is a little pricey, it's still, I just know that getting back over there, it would be rather difficult to get this stuff. Not like out here where I can just go right down the road to any of these shops and get some. So yeah, that definitely is something I kept in mind. There's another shop out here. They're right down where I work, and they sell 100 Full Metal Jacket rounds for $12.99, and I did wonder, what does that turn out to be for, I guess, I don't know, I guess 100 of those, so 10 would be 500. Yeah, so you're paying, it's just a little expensive, because I think if you look on like Midway, if you get like what is it, the company Rainer bullets, they're fairly cheap for Full Metal Jacket stuff. And I've even done ones where I've gotten a whole bunch of bad 9mm and just pulled the bullets from those and just collected all the old bullets and then salvaged the casing if you could, and just dumped the powder and carefully removed the primer. And I think if I soaked them in water and then deprimed them or something, I think that may have been what I've done. So, but so next comment here from Varen K. He said, just like a kid again, sat around the table and listened to your show. The word is listen. The 40s, no TV. It still was fun, and yours is also fun. Keep it going. Thank you. I appreciate it. These are all the supportive comments that it's really nice to get and read. And And then Richard Landero says, yeah, Facebook there anti firearm. There are many Facebook groups where that have to do with people in the firearm community, that they allow you to post firearms in their group, and that way it won't be banned or blocked by Facebook. And so he has shared my videos there, which is really nice. I appreciate that, because the more try to get the videos out there, the content, and more people watching and everything is always a good thing for the channel. But I remember I remember when I first started all this and everything. It was it's still fun, and it was still one of the best. Everything was just fresh and new. I was like, I didn't know what to expect. Didn't know what I was going to get. What if I was going to get people that were going to watch, or it was. I remember just going through that. I was like thinking, wow, I don't know, what is the turnout going to be? So even this channel, we've been picking up some subscribers. We've been picking up more and more people. 183 at this point. So that's a lot more than I thought we were going to do. And it's nice, that's the other thing, is it's nice to have this kind of smaller in comparison to the main channel, where it's got a little bit more, not by much, but a little bit more. Well, I guess over 6 million views on the main channel, which is always surprising to me that, wow, that many people have watched the content. So, and then I just posted up the video of the goods from the show on the main channel there. A lot of you that are subscribed right here have already seen it, or if you're on my Patreon page, you definitely seen it. So I just want to. So some of the stuff, that's what I was trying to get ahead, which is film videos and get stuff like that and put them in the can, for say, and then that way I can upload them periodically throughout the time. That way it keeps the channel fresh with videos and keeps me ahead of the game a little bit, so that I have the time to keep making content. Because the one thing is the radio show that I do every Saturday, that's the one video that's that really sneaks up on me really quickly, and it really takes some dedication to do it and to keep them going. Because I tell you, you'd be surprised how quick between the filming of each one and to get them uploaded, it's like, wow, that really happened quickly. It's all of a sudden, here it is again, and we're ready for another radio show. That's it happens really fast, and so trying to keep that going. It does sneak up on me really quickly. I'm like, wow, it's time to film that again. I better get going with that. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, you guys, and I appreciate everybody that stuck around here for the chat, and I know you enjoy these. There's a lot of you that enjoy them, and so that's why I keep doing it. And yeah, keep this channel updated with some new stuff. Like, share, and subscribe as always. I'm BATJAC J.W. Thanks for tuning in with me and chatting.